In the beginning. Now, in 1959, the Methodist Conference was looking for land in Severna Park. This was a growing area and seemed perfect for a Methodist church. This land right here belonged to the Myers, 4+ acres, and was purchased by the Methodist Conference. But there were two concerns. There was going to be a reconfiguration of Benfield Road, and they weren't sure how this would impact the land that was here. And then there were some churches in the area that weren't sure there should be another church. So they put it on hold for a little while, and then decided, though, they were going to go ahead at the Charge Conference in 1965 in June. Now, Dr. Edgar Beckett, or Edgar as he always wanted to be called, in his 45 years of ministry had had many churches in the district and was just completing an assignment as district superintendent. He was asked if he wanted the Severna Park assignment. He knew there were large established churches in the area where he could finish out his last years before retirement. But with conferring and praying with his wife Muriel, he chose Severna Park. They had the retirement house in Annapolis on the water, and Severna Park was not that far away. He took the assignment and was given 2 pieces of paper. One of them was the plat for this undeveloped piece of land, and the other was a list with 2 names of people he might call to see if they were interested in helping him. What a leap of faith. Now, Edgar had never been without a church, never not had a congregation. He called the 2 names. One of them was Bob Fisher, who was very active in the Calvary Church in Annapolis and probably was not going to come here to stay, but he would help with the beginning. And Gene Engelman, who became a very instrumental part in our early church. They had suggestions of other people to call, and Edgar began calling on the people in Severna Park. On July 4th, he met with 11 people on the porch of what was called the Little House. Muriel, who was always with him in spirit, made it number 12 at the beginning. Now, the Little House was indeed that, a little house. It was on the corner, and it still is on the corner, of Benfield and Holland. The first service, Edgar said, was going to be in the month of August on the 8th. So when these people left, this 11, they knew who were going to be painting some signs to mark the churches, who was going to be in charge of couples clubs, secretaries were assigned, activity groups, and other people to call. The next week there were more people. Edgar knew that when someone had a job to do in the church and became part of an organization, they became involved. He had a knack for knowing how each person might fit in. They met the next week and the next. The group grew. Some thought they were only on loan from their church to help with this new Methodist church. Some did only help to get it started, but many stayed on and became our charter members. Signs were erected. Everyone was a volunteer and a willing one, with their talent, their times, and their ideas. Where can we find chairs, an organ, robes, a pulpit, all these things that a church needs? The first service was held on August the 8th, 1965, complete with a program run off at an old mimeograph machine down in the basement. A list of activities: scouts, choir, Sunday school superintendent, building committee, couples club, youth group. How lovely are our dwelling places was sung as the first hymn. 94 people attended that Sunday, and a picture was taken outside right after the service. Some were those who did join the church. Some were Lutherans. Edgar had recently done a funeral service for a Lutheran, and many of the people came to pay their respects. And some were from the Methodist Conference. But no one ever said, short people in front, tall people behind. So we've always had trouble knowing everyone in that picture. Now, Julia Pramschafer shared this letter from Edgar that they got from their first visit to the church. It ends with, "I do pray that we may so conduct our church that God will become very real to you and that you will want to keep coming each Sunday." Well, of course they did, with an invitation like that.